Hey, what is up? We are back with part two of review of day five. Five. Okay, so day one is going to be the buttermilk day. That's what we're going to base it off, even though day one was unpacking. So, yes, it's day five. If we forget about night one. Day one was just traveling and stuff, so we got that through. So tomorrow we will make vids with my cousin Gerald and my grandma Gladys at the restaurant, so that's gonna be pretty fun. We're going to some breakfast place for brunch, so that's gonna be pretty good. And as I've explained in videos before, my cousin, I did it again. My uncle Gerald is an actor. So, and he's also in an improv class. Now, improv is just like is a comedy stuff. It's improvising without a script. It's like doing stuff without a script. So they don't follow a script or anything. So it's pretty good, and in all his plays, he's the funny guy, and he's really known around Colorado to be really funny. He is known around the community, just like my grandma. They're both really known around the community. So, we're going to that. And me and Chris, we're having a blast out here. My Uncle Gerald works in a pot shop. No, he does not smoke pot. He does not do that. But he does work in a pot shop because it is legal out here in Colorado. So he works there. And me and Chris, we went to visit him today, but we had to go into a restaurant right next door, and he just like walks through, seeing that we're not allowed to walk into the pot shop because we are underage, and it's illegal. It's not I don't know what the rule is, but like since we're underage, we're not allowed to enter. I don't know what the punishment is for that, but I'm guessing you have to like there's some sort of punishment for it. So he came over and we talked to see what our plans were for tomorrow. So that was pretty fun. And it was weird for me and Chris because like we're so used to New York that it's like, oh my God, they can't be selling pot, that's illegal. But then it's perfectly legal in Colorado as long as you're not selling to minors. I think you have to be over 21 to buy pot in Colorado. I'm not fairly sure because like I don't look it up. There's no reason to. So it's just not normal for us to like find pot shops, and if you don't know, Aspen is like just because of the mountains, Aspen is a really big tourist attraction, even to like rich people. So like Gerald was talking to us today, and he was like, this a while ago, I can't remember who he said, but he said that a famous actor walked in and bought pot at the pot shop. And it was just really cool to see him and stuff like that. Like, he got a photograph and an autograph and stuff like that. So, it's just not normal for me and Chris to be like, oh my God, they're selling pot. Like, it's completely normal in Colorado. But to us, it's just like, how can you do that? It just didn't, like, work with us. And then so we were laughing about it. We were like, that you can't do that. And then we saw somebody walk past into into the pot shop, buy some pot, walk out, and then later he was walking around town and we saw him, and me and Chris looked at each other and we was like, that guy just bought pot. And we just started bursting out laughing. Like it was it's just not normal for us to be like, oh, he sold and bought pot. Like in our brains, since we're so geared to New York and we have a good culture, we're not used to like pot being okay in quotation.
If you saw someone in Wayland or Dansville with pot.
Yeah. So it was just weird to see people like walking into the shop, walking out of the shop. And there's not just like one or two pot shops in Aspen. There's like 5 or 6. Like every street you go down, like you could probably find a small little pot shop somewheres within hidden, not really hidden, but like if you ever go to Aspen, everything's so crammed together. So like the pot shop where my cousin works is like down a flight of stairs, and then that's how you get to it. And then New York Pizza, which we stopped at
Day 2.
on day 2. Chris was hungry, so we stopped and got him pizza at New York Pizza, and that's up a flight of stairs. And if you guys ever come to Aspen, you're gonna see everything, and not the only real, and there's no chain companies. Like the closest Walmart is like
The closest McDonald's is an hour away.
Yeah, the closest Walmart, McDonald's, and Wendy's is an hour away. An hour. So once you get into Aspen, there's literally no chain stores, and it's all like high-end fashion. The only like somewhat chain where you can find like other places is probably the Gucci store. Yes, the Gucci store. That's like the only other thing that I've seen in Aspen that's somewheres else. But other than that, there's nothing that you would see in New York. Literally nothing. Everything is so like,
Hey, I'm gonna go hop a shower.
yeah, it's so, everything's just high-end fashion and stuff, and like everything's really expensive. Like I'm it's really expensive, but yet at the same time it's not. So for example, Chris bought Reese's cup for $2.50. Now, if you're from New York,
You buy a king size for $2.50.
yeah, you buy like a king size for $2.50. But he paid $2.50 for a regular size, and Chris was like, "That's really expensive." And I was like, "Yeah, but we're from New York, so it seems expensive. But if you live in Colorado, you don't have like 1 or 2 jobs. You don't have literally like one job. You have like 2 or 3 jobs."
Yeah, everybody around here has 2 jobs.
So in Colorado, to people who live here, they're like, "Oh, $2.50 for a candy bar, that's normal." Like, but to us New Yorkers,
I walk in there,
we're like,
for a slice of pizza.
yeah, and it's like $7.50 for a slice of pizza. We walk into a pizza place in New York. Yeah, it's cheaper.
$1.25.
Yeah, $1.25 a slice in Wayland, wherever Chris goes for his pizza. So I usually pay like $2.
I'm talking about at my local ski resort.
Oh yeah.
Mods,
At Mods, at the local ski resort at Swain, he pays $1.75. In Dansville, you pay like $2.25 for like a slice. So Chris was like, "Oh my God, it's so expensive." He paid $5 for a Powerade. $5. I could go to the store and buy 3 Powerade. If I was in New York, I could go buy 3 Powerades for $5. And I could buy like the big size Powerades. This was one of the little tiny like 16-ounce Powerades. So yes, everything here seems more expensive, but if you compare the income that you get here in Colorado is so much higher than an income in New York. So here in Colorado, there is a minimum wage, but usually wherever you work in Colorado, you get paid over minimum wage. So you don't make minimum wage, you get over minimum wage because that's just how it works in Colorado. But like if you're in New York and there's a minimum wage, you usually get the minimum wage and nothing more. So everything seems more expensive, but in comparison, it's like the same thing if you live in Colorado. So that's just a little, I don't know, a little funny thing, like, oh my God, it's so expensive when really it's not. I find it funny. I chuckled about it. I was like, oh, oh yeah, pretty much. So then Chris picked up a sweatshirt that was too small, and then we went to the city market, and and it's Girl Scout cookie season. Let me start that with that. It's Girl Scout cookie season. The orders came in. My parents texted me when the orders of my sister's Girl Scout cookies came in. I was so mad. I was like, oh my God, I'm not home. So we went, and as we were walking to the city market, there was a Girl Scout cookie stand. So I was like, oh my God, I need to go in there and buy something so that I can buy Girl Scout cookies. So I can get cash back because I didn't have that much cash on me so that I could buy Girl Scout cookies. So I went in, I bought 2 cans of Pringles. I got barbecue and cheddar cheese. So that was pretty good. And then I got my cash back. And then I walked out, and there was one person ahead of me. And he ordered Thin Mints. So he ordered Thin Mints, and I think I don't know what else, but he ordered Thin Mints. Now this is important. Hold on to that. That he was the only person in front of me, and he ordered Thin Mints. Hold on to that. Okay, so I was the next person in line. He walks away. I step up. May I please have some Samoas and a box of Thin Mints? You know what they said? They said, I'm so sorry, we're out of Thin Mints. I turn around, look at the guy who's walking away with the box of Thin Mints. He opens it up, eats one, looks at me, smiles at me, and then walks and eats another one. Thin Mints are my favorite Girl Scout cookie ever. If I could survive off of Thin Mints. I always get a box of Thin Mints, no matter what. Like my own box. And it was so upsetting. It was so upsetting. He bought the box in front of me, ate a cookie while looking at me, and walked away. Like, it's like he knew that he bought the last box. I was so mad. I was like, I wanted to chase the guy down and like, I was willing to chase the guy down and pay him money. By the time I got my Samoas and my cash, I turned around. He was in his car and he drove off. I was going to buy an already open pack of Thin Mints from a guy just because I love Thin Mints for more than what he paid. So I did get my Samoas. I suggest that you guys buy Girl Scout cookies because they are, for some reason, they are by far the best cookies I've ever had. Samoas are so good, but Thin Mints are so much better. So yeah, that was pretty good. Okay, I'm over my time limit, so I will make a part 3. So see ya.